RTD Live Talk, Detroit's late night YouTube talk show. I'm excited to be back for another live stream and got a couple articles I want to share with you. But yet tonight I want to just open up the phone line and find out what's on your mind, given the fact that, as always, there's more than enough stuff for us to talk about. So I want to definitely get a chance to see what's going on in your neck of the woods. So welcome to this night's live stream. Give it a second before I share with you a couple of articles that caught my attention today. And then also get your take on the interview earlier with Mr. Gerald Salente. Hopefully everyone had a chance to check that out. And it definitely was good to be able to connect with them. I've been wanting to do that for quite some time, so I'm glad I had the chance. So that being the case, how's everybody doing? Let me know where you're watching from. Any new viewers, definitely let us know in the chat. We'd love to acknowledge your presence. And then we will get started with this live stream this evening. So we got Philman, we got low blood pressure, we got Ada Ugosoy, if I'm pronouncing that right. Mr. Jack Roberts, we got Jojo Wave, Spirit King. Mr. Roberts from the UK, London area. Appreciate you tuning in, my friend. Thanks for joining us. John, the 10th man from San Antonio. We got Roman. Okay. Good amount of people here. Appreciate you taking time for me. As always, looking forward to find out what's in your mind. So if there's anything newsworthy happening in your neck of the woods that's worthy of being brought to the forefront, definitely want to find out about it. So want to just share a couple articles on my end of things that caught my attention and then open up the phone lines and go from there. We got the unnecessary experiment from Boston. Igor, Gospel Outside Ministries. Philman says, question, how much longer before silver takes off? Will gold need to pass 2K an ounce before silver takes off? So Philman, great question. It's one of those things where you can't put a time to it just because the orchestrating cabal makes sure that they do a good job of trying to suppress anything from reaching its true value in regards to all those undervalued assets. And of course, silver being the most precious of the precious, I don't know, but when it takes off, it's good to say if you're holding some, you won't be disappointed in a financial sense. And so, of course, all the, monetary experts / gurus out there will tell you that, gold will definitely increase, but silver will take off to the moon for whatever that's worth, due to the fact that it has a lot more properties and comes out of the ground in a much smaller ratio these days, from what I heard listening to a commentator yesterday. So yet positioning as much as you can, much as you think is necessary for you. Okay, what else? So let me get to some articles here and then we'll get started. It says, how high could silver even go? That's a great question. So based upon all the fiat currency globally, I think one of those, it's not a great measurement, but if you go to the debt clock and you go to the bottom section, you get a chance to get a look at what the ratio is as of now. And let me actually open this up here and see if I can share this with you. And I know definitely it's went up since we've last looked at this, but I'll share this on the screen now. So just real quickly, if you go to the far right over in this area here, it talks about the dollar to silver ratio now. And so according to all the currency created in dollar terms, the dollar to silver ratio now, which is the year-over-year increase of US M2 money supply divided by the yearly world production, if you can trust those measurements, it'll be $3,624 per ounce. So, if we were to get to that type of figure there, that's something worth taking a hold of. And then the dollar to gold ratio is $30,000. So that's a 1-to-10 ratio right there. So for whatever that's worth. So yeah, something worth considering. And so I want to touch on a couple things here about one of them was I think something we're really going to be hearing more about, especially as the government looks to make up for some of the losses of the economy having been shut down. But this article here says this current health scare will turn the state pension problems into a fiscal crisis. And I remember talking about the pension crisis, several years now, mentioning it, how at some point it would definitely fall on the government's front door on how they would step in to provide the funds that's lacking from the pension plans being underfunded, all the promises, basically cans being kicked down the road, and every single politician that comes in office making promises but not able to fulfill those promises while they are not able to stock enough funds to the side. So it's quite a lengthy article here, but it just talks about the fact that what's going on now will definitely touch down on the doorsteps of the U.S. government, and they're going to have to make a tough decision, of which we're seeing that now, as looks like the HEROES Act has a little bit of a bailout relief for states to make up for some of the losses due to the lack of tax receipts, because extreme unemployment as well as business closing, that's tax revenue missed out upon. Therefore, there's going to be a nice little gap that needs to be made up. And who's going to do that? Uncle Sam. And so, interesting article. If you guys are interested in reading any further, definitely I can put that in the chat for you. But just wanted to share some of the subject matter, just because I think it's one of those real stories that cannot be addressed, just because there's nothing that can really be done about it other than just either expand the debt load to pay for this temporarily or default on it. Either one, it's going to be painful. And then here's another article here. It says New York has seen with a 40% drop in tax revenue, steepest fall in the U.S. So, of course, New York, it's like a mecca for shopping and restaurants and stuff like that. And for them to have shut down, had no commerce in that city, as well as state, New York City and state as well, led to these type of numbers here, where it gives you an idea as of right now. It says many northeastern states among top to see tax revenue shortfall. So you have a shortfall in income being brought in for the states, therefore widening the gap of lack of revenue to meet obligations. So, we're going to be in for a nice little whirlwind of problems that will only get worse. And so we got New York leading the way. We got Maine. We got Hawaii. We got Massachusetts. We got California. We have Georgia, New Jersey, Nevada, North Dakota, and Connecticut, it looks like. So, Uncle Sam is in on a hook for that, unfortunately. And so just 2 articles. I got one more, and I'll share with you, and then I'll open up the phone lines, and we can go back and forth a little bit. And so let me see here. It says max out credit cards, buy silver. Oh, man. Low blood pressure, still talking about max out those credit cards. It says comment, they are going to expect face mask wearing again here in San Antonio, especially at the main supermarkets. Don't know how much more I can take. And that's to be expected, given this mainstream media scare on the numbers and the desire to continue to pump out basically, fear porn to get people to continue to buy into the narrative of that they need to protect themselves or else, as opposed to at this point, given everything that's at stake, given everything that's coming to a head here, I'm of the mindset, if there is something out there, which I don't doubt that there is, let it run its course. Let's just deal with it head on, minus, having to get a vaccine and all that stuff like that. Just let things fall where they may, and we'll deal with the consequences, other than, of course, locking things down, forcing us to stay home, and subjecting us to all this stuff that's coming. And so that's one of the things Gerald Celente mentioned earlier as to where this is all heading. And it's going to be a decision or a choice that we're all going to be confronted with on how we will allow them to further dictate what they want for us, as opposed to what we want them to do on our behalf, given the fact they're supposed to be public workers, referring to the politicians working on our behalf. So keep us posted on that. And then also found out tonight that Governor Whitmer here in the great state of Michigan has prolonged the emergency measures here in our state, saying that since the numbers are low, they want to keep this emergency thing going. So I'll actually pull this up here because this is just relatively fresh. But this is what I'm facing here in Michigan. And so it says Michigan extends state of emergency amid this current outbreak. And so it was very vague in nature. Doesn't tell much other than some of the things that they're looking to prevent. And I'll just thumb through here. It says Whitmer on Wednesday said that new data shows Michigan's aggressive actions have significantly lowered the number of cases and deaths. And so it's going to be extended to prevent them from flaring up again. but it was very vague and not mentioning what that really entails, other than keeping us in a state of emergency, which means that some of our rights will probably be suspended, and she'll be able to roll out whatever she wants to accordingly. And of course, I believe this is all part of the political strategy to, that left-right paradigm. So this is what's happening in Michigan. So you're not alone out there with being forced to do things that people pretty much at this point not really concerned with or really care about. So what else here? So as always, let me get ready to open these phone lines up and give me a call. Let's talk. Curious to find out what's on your mind. Let's touch on some of these subject matters here, and we'll go from there. And I will get back to the chat and see what else is going on here. It says it's cities to get more funding. If it is cities to get more funding, so yeah, cities are definitely they're going to need the funds. So it's just a matter of how much and when they're going to do it, because it looks like they're trying to play hardball. But I have a call here. Let me get to this call here. 1 second. All right, first call of the night. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike, it's Matt from Nashville.
Matt from Nashville. How you doing, my friend? What's on your mind tonight?
I'm doing good, man. I got a couple things for you. The first one is quick, but I'm wondering, man, are you ever going to do an early morning show when I'm driving to work? Usually, it's late night's too late for me, so I just listen to your late night, and I'm always like, man, I wish I could call in, but unfortunately, this was 12 hours ago.
Yeah, man.
But man, I would love a 6 in the morning, maybe 5 in the morning. It'd be nice.
Ooh-wee. That's a real that's a morning talk show, and unfortunately, I'm not operating at full capacity at that time. So I'll see what I can do. But man, that's gonna be a hard one. So I can't make no promises.
It's all right. I got you. I've been fishing in the morning, and I'm listening to you then too. So I still got you in the morning, but I'm usually a couple hours behind.
It's all good, man. I appreciate you. What else is going on, man? How's everything in your neck of the woods?
It's good. I thought, people have been talking about the end times lately. You've been talking about that. I know you said something about the temple had been rebuilt yet. And I wanted to share with you something that I heard today. Okay. This is all spitballing and speculation, but I thought you might find it interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so the guy was saying, and I get hung up on all these terms. I don't know a whole lot about this, but there's like post-trib and pre-trib and rapture and post-millennial, post-millennium or pre-millennium and stuff. Yeah. So I'm not too sure about what all that is, but he was saying that he believes that the millennium has already happened, and he was the first person I've ever heard say that. I've heard people say like judgment is going to come before the millennium, or judgment's going to come after the millennium, but I've never heard anybody say that the millennium has already happened. Yeah. And he was saying that right now he thinks that we're already in Armageddon. And so I was like, all right, why do you think that? Yeah. And he said that in Revelation, there's those the seals. He said that he believed the seals were Rome, and that they are describing like Rome and it being dismantled in 400, and then a little bit after that, like some more of the seals are opened up, but generally Rome's taken down in 400, and then maybe some tentacles or stuff still left. Yeah, and then the seventh seal, he said. Like I said, this is all spitballing, but I thought you might think it was interesting. But he said the seventh seal he thought was he's saying is the trumpets, and he said the trumpets were Charles the Great, Charlemagne, when the gospel goes, he becomes like emperor, the Holy Roman Emperor, and the gospel starts going to Eastern Europe and all Western Europe, and for it still takes 1,000 years. But he said that's the millennium. He thinks the trumpets were the millennium. It started with Charlemagne in around 800, year 800, and then in 1800. That's 1,000 years in 1800, and he was like, "What's significant about that?" He said, "Around that time, you have like the French Revolution and the American Revolution, and those are where once Christian nations, you had like the Pilgrims, they left Europe. He was saying they left Europe because they didn't think it was safe anymore, so they came and they started their own thing. And a lot of the Pilgrims, they were Christian.
Yeah.
And so you had this country that had those beliefs, but when the American Revolution happened and they formed up the Constitution, that it was a secular document where what was once Christian threw off Christ.
Yeah.
And it ushered in, and he said that would be the release of Satan. It was like I'll just let the guy talk.
Yeah, I see. So,
man, this is super interesting.
Yeah,
he had it all thought out, man. So, I was like, I've never heard this, but I bet Mike would think this was interesting.
So yeah, definitely, it's very entertaining to say the least. Me personally, I think it's more so personal interpretation of doctrine, and so of course I would say, everybody, if you're a believer in Christ, check in with the Holy Spirit, and I'm sure He'll give you the true revelation that you need for yourself without having to go astray and put all of the historical stuff together. So entertaining is I don't know what, but me personally, I'm not familiar with that, so it doesn't resonate with my spirit. So I'm going to just leave it at that. But I want to thank you for calling in. We'll get some more calls in, but I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah, you're right, man. We gotta trust the Holy Spirit and stick with what we know.
Exactly, man.
Stick with what we know that the Bible teaches and all that stuff. So that's good, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Mike. It's always good.
Appreciate you, my man. Be good.
Yeah, peace.
Yeah. So that was that's interesting, man. So I personally, as far as putting all that together, that's I'll leave that to the Bible scholars. And, go from there. So, but I appreciate that insight because there's all types of theories and doctrine and, pretty much anybody can dig inside there and find what they're looking for if they're looking for it hard enough. So, yeah, but I'm gonna leave that alone. So I appreciate that call, though. Got another call here. And also, if you don't mind, keep the questions or thoughts relatively short so we can try to get as many calls as possible. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Mike, it's low blood pressure from Corpus Christi. How's it
going
today?
Doing good, man. Corpus Christi in the building. What's good with you, my friend?
Man, I got a little bit of depression, Mike.
Depression? What's going on?
Man, look, man, Aunt Jemima, they canceled her, man, because she's racist. They said it's racist. Now I can't even eat Aunt Jemima syrup anymore.
Oh, man. Yeah, anything that's race-related or that will strike a nerve will definitely get canceled. So I saw that. I'm like, man, come on now. Like, how far can you go? But, hey.
Hey, and then Mike, Mrs. Butterworth, she's white. I don't want to eat that stuff. I don't want to Mrs. Butterworth. Come on, Mike.
Yeah, so, I'm going to still do me. So I enjoy me some Aunt Jemima. As long as I can find some, I'm going to use it, even though it's fake, chemical processed crap. But it's still good, so.
Don't eat that white Mrs. Butterworth. I just wanted to ask you, what's next? Are they going to take brown and black crayons out of the Crayola boxes? No more Speedy Gonzalez? How far are these people going to go?
As far as they need to continue to keep us distracted by the color agenda. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that comes out tomorrow. They're going to probably outlaw the word black and mix. I don't know, man. So. Yeah, but it's entertaining.
They're gonna repaint doo-doo. They're gonna repaint doo-doo a different color.
Oh man, hey man, I appreciate you calling. We get a couple more calls in, my friend. It's always good to hear from you.
All right, Mike. Have a great night. All right, bye.
You too. Oh man, hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is Stephen in Milwaukee. I wanted low blood pressure to know that it's not just Aunt Jemima, but they canceling Cocoa Pops and Snap Crackle and Pops for being racist as well.
Are you serious?
And also, Mike, I wanted to run something by you, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
We're moving into some new territory, where they're saying, you can spread the coronavirus through your poop.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that I'm wondering is when they move into this new realm of social distancing, because you're a married man, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm divorced.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gladly divorced. But they're moving into this new realm where, what about when they come to you and they say you and your wife are going to have to sleep in separate bedrooms?
Yeah, that's okay. So that I never heard that before, but that's That, I mean, I can imagine during a complete surveillance state, if everybody goes a smart home way where there's cameras everywhere, I can imagine at that point, after that point, then they'll be able to see and say. But you know, how you gonna tell me who and what, how, you know, in my own house? So, I don't know, man. It ain't for me, so that's not me. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm just saying, man, you're probably gonna have to wear body cams, so you're not gonna be able to sneak.
Body cams. And so if it gets to the point where we have to wear actual body cams, I can understand the agenda, of course, to have us connect to the cloud and, just to have us wear something that, has us always connected and they can read our thoughts and stuff like that. So if they can read our thoughts, then they know what we're going to do. So, yeah, but I think that's 10, 20 years away. God, if they try to force that on us, but yet I don't think people are going to stand for that. I know as of right now, I don't see myself going that far, man. I might have to make some real tough decisions. And, I'll see what the Lord got in store for me because perhaps I might not be here. So ain't no telling.
Okay, one last question.
Yeah.
And I just want to know, you don't even have to answer this one, but if they do make you and the wife sleep in separate bedrooms, do you get the master bedroom or does she get the master bedroom?
I ain't going to answer that, but I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I love you. You're a great man. Laughter is food for the soul, man. Sometimes we got to laugh at this stupidity.
Exactly.
So I love you, man.
All right, my man. Appreciate your call. Love you too, man.
You too.
Oh, man. Good call. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, man. It's sometimes you got to laugh to keep from crying these days, man, because stuff is getting serious. And I try to keep a good sense of humor about it, man. So, but, I'll give wifey, I'll let her make that choice. I'll put it on her. So I appreciate the call, man. All right, so let me get back into the chat. Also, let me know what's going on. Give me some more calls. Let's talk a little bit more. Go a couple more minutes. We're going to dial back. And what else is out here in the chat? Let me see here. Nothing stands out. But yet, I pulled up that Cocoa Puff stuff. And this is right here. I didn't know about this. It says, disgraced former MP criticizes Kellogg's for using monkey on his Cocoa Pops cereal box. So right now, anything that can be linked to this racial warfare that they're trying to stir up amongst the population will fly. So question is, how far will this type of stuff go? Because, if you're a fan of Cocoa Puffs, you like your Cocoa Puffs. I'm sure you never probably even thought about the monkey and, it being some type of symbolic, whatever. So, but that's interesting, man. Very interesting. What else is out there? What other scenarios out there are they trying to throw out there and have us going back and forth against? Everybody here needs to have weapons. Yeah, that is true. I saw a question that said, where does this go? Mike, are you still planning on investing in Colombia? Poppy 3D. So I actually there's a couple YouTubers I follow that do real estate abroad. So some of the places I just enjoy getting a look and getting a glance at real estate happens to be, of course, Colombia. One is Nicaragua. One is Costa Rica. So those are all places I've gone. And, for the most part, due to the climate, the atmosphere, of course, once you get outside the U.S. and you go to second world, third world type countries, the pace of life is so much slower. And it's just much better. It's a much better atmosphere to be actually raise a family when it comes to trying to prioritize priorities and values. So, but long story short, I still wouldn't mind in the future having options to do such if it came about. But, I was talking to George Gammon the other day. He was mentioning that as of now, Colombia is not looking to open up their borders as of now, barring everything happening there till August, September. So, yeah, I'm not sure how that'll play out, but there's definitely opportunities down there. And I've never been one to, say that, it's dangerous in all those places. It's dangerous everywhere, man. So I never got suckered into that lie trying to keep us home as opposed to opening up our horizons to other nations. So what else is going on? It says, what about Fruit Loops? Fruit Loops, that's probably going to be LinkedIn eventually. We got that LGBTQ thing going on now. So, Fruit Loops probably going to be linked into that. They're going to say it's discriminatory and it's racist and sexist and all types of is and isms out there that's coming. So, but would you be surprised?
Hello.
Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, this is John from Colorado.
John from Colorado, my friend. What's on your mind? Give me some good news from out there.
Yeah, that's good news. It's a little bit hazy from the fires. I'm in the Denver area, so it's a little bit hazy. Really hot, really dry.
Okay, so you got some fire situations out there, huh?
Yeah, in the southwest part of the state, Durango.
Yeah. Okay, is it bad, or I haven't heard nothing about it?
No, it's not that bad.
Okay.
No.
All right, man. What else is going on?
I was wondering, like, are there any good investments in the stock market right now? I'm really, I have a short position, most of the options, but it's just really scary and unpredictable. I have silver, and I really think that's the best hedge. But
yeah,
what do you think about the stock market?
Me personally, man, having a chance to speak to a lot of smart individuals that are day traders and they study the markets as of now. Apart from the mining sector, I still enjoy looking into that, but yet I think it will follow the actual use case and the need for gold, metals in general. So I think those will do well. But it's one of them things where you have to know where you're putting your funds at. You got the big boys, the small boys. So not quite sure, but those are of interest. Everything else to me, man, is extremely overpriced. And apart from, as I mentioned, getting in, getting out, I'm not a believer that you can truly put funds, the buy and hold or buy the dips in the equities markets now because of how artificial everything is, to where I don't see any long-term value. I've seen more than enough graphs talking about, the likelihood of having true gains 5-10 years from now will be negative, give or take all the manipulation of buyback stocks and stuff like that. So me personally, I don't dive too deep into it, because I believe, as a lot of people say, when it corrects down to fair value, whatever that is, then that'll be a time to actually get in the rebuilding process for a lot of those companies. So that's just my 2 cents, man.
Right. I agree that it's very inflated and overpriced. I only think that if there's increased inflation, because inflation is, I watch a lot of the Minecla 64. I saw you on the other day with him. And,
yeah.
You're getting some good names. But he always says that inflation is the increase. It's not the increase of price, but it's the introduction of new money, an abnormal increase of money supply.
Right.
So if that continues, I could also see the stock market getting higher and higher.
Oh, yeah.
Even though compared to gold, it will go down, or gold or silver.
No, gold.
That's the only thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, so So gold and silver will not go down as far as what it's needed, what it will be used for, which is wealth preservation. And so it will go up nominally, but the thing with stocks going up, just like in Argentina right now and in Venezuela, when the currency is in crisis territory, it goes up, but having more of those shares in a currency that's not worth anything still leaves you worth off. So you can have shares in a company, but if the company is, not really truly productive and of value, are you really making out, as opposed to having physical metals that absorbs all that liquidity and acts as like a sponge and stores it for you to get into whatever else down the line when things are actually correct. So that's kind of how I see things.
Right, I agree. I'm just saying the dollar value of stocks might keep going up.
Yeah,
but it's not real. Yeah,
correct. And I personally, the long-term promises are, so we have all the retirement vehicles. They're all based upon certain portions of your portfolio being in bonds and in equity. So based upon the response from the government running deficits until whenever, and the Federal Reserve monetizing and weaponizing the currency, there's no way of actually discovering anything of true value outside of what you probably can hold in your own possession at some point. So, because you're not going to hold on to a lot of things that you can't truly sell to anybody, because who the hell gonna be able to afford it, or who would want it outside of what, your metals, your real estate, land, things that are going to absorb all that liquidity. So that's kind of what I think about it, man.
Yeah.
But hey, I appreciate your calling.
Last question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think about Bitcoin and crypto?
Okay. I was actually going to do a video earlier. As I say before, it's being set up as a backdoor out of the dying system. My biggest problem with it ultimately is that it's being positioned strategically for Wall Street. It was always about decentralized, it was disrupting the bankers or whatever. But now with the DeFi processes and all the products being put together, utilizing cryptocurrencies, predominantly Bitcoin, to me, it's turning into Wall Street's, a Wall Street tool. And of course, the surveillance state, it's basically a surveillance coin in the fact that you can see everything from the time it's mined until the last person that received it in your wallet. So, it doesn't really disrupt and doesn't really fight. It doesn't really fight the bankers, or does it also, help them get out as well, and also, add more traction and tracking and tracing on you for holding it. So it's that give or take. What's more important, your privacy or profit? What do you prefer? So some people prefer just, gaining off of this destruction of the monetary system, so it's going to go up, it's going to do good, but, it's not where I would want to be taken because they want us to go digital. So that's just my thoughts.
Yeah.
But yet I've been aware of a lot of projects. And so there's opportunity there. It's just more so you're giving up one thing in hopes of trying to gain on the other end. And so it's a trade-off, man.
All right.
But hey, appreciate you calling, man. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, all right. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Appreciate you calling and sharing your thoughts there. So yeah, once again, just my thoughts and opinions, man. But just stuff I think we should really consider because it's a lot of excitement around the cryptocurrency sector. But one of the primary reasons that I thought it was all something that we were looking into is because it disrupted the banking sector and all that stuff. But once they got in and basically control the price action right now and price discovery with all the products they're spinning off, it's not what it used to be. So I've never wanted to promote it and just say, get your weight up, speculate in the cryptos if you feel that's something that you want to do. So S400 says, Mike says, look at GLD ETFs, all-time volume by Fiscal. Yeah, so all types of derivatives to gold and silver and metals in general will probably do well. But it's one of those things where you're buying into a product. So it'll go up nominally, but yet you won't be able to actually probably get any of that physical gold because those things aren't really designed to be deliverable, from what I believe. Okay, it says, Mike, the dollar is the world reserve currency. Wait till America goes to 40 trillion by the end of the year. The austerity packages are coming. Also, what happens when the dollar is no longer the world currency? Oh man, so 40 trillion by the end of this year. Assuming that's the debt, what's going to be the debt clock number, 40 trillion. So definitely by the time if Trump gets reelected the second term, if we're still under the dollar standard internationally and everything is still operating similar to what it is now, 40 trillion, no problem. Because every president for the last 20 years that we've been running deficits have doubled the national debt. And so Trump is basically taking it from close to 20 to close to 40. I think that's possible. Now, I'm not sure on the receiving end, damn sure won't be any people buying the bonds and treasuries or whatever, but the Federal Reserve will be monetizing. And so if it's 40 trillion debt, it's going to be easily, 20, 10, 15, 20 trillion on the balance sheet of the Federal Reserve, which basically spells, problems for the dollar. So at that point, if people are not realizing that the Federal Reserve note is already your biggest financial liability. If you still holding large amounts of liabilities at that point, in my personal opinion, you deserve, the depreciation, devaluation of your currency, because by that between now and then, if you're witnessing inflation pick up, therefore, basically just the currency purchasing less because of the money supply. If you're still in that game holding on, then more power to you. But what else here? I saw something about it says New Zealand is where many of these Wall Street crooks have homes. So when it all collapses, they're out. Yeah, I saw Goldie that they're building bunkers and all types of bug out locations there. So Goldie says, I've been to Belize and it's nice and laid back. Yeah, I went to Belize as well. Man, I wasn't there long enough to really get the lay of the land, but I was not impressed. It reminded me too much of the parts that I traveled through. So whatever the capital, I forgot it off the top of my head, but the downtown area, oh my goodness, it was worse than Detroit, boy. Man, I was so disappointed in Belize. So definitely, I don't know what the capital is, but stay out of the capital area because it's yeah, man, it's trash as I don't know what, in my opinion. But anyway, get to this last question, then we're gonna get ready to dial back. It says Crypto S says, Mike, do you think this is the last bit of normalcy for the summer before they announce new cases and shut us down again? I think that my personal opinion is that between now and the election, I'm anticipating some other type of event, whether it's a false flag or a furthering of what's going on now. I don't doubt it, but if it looks like what's his name? Joe Biden is not, if it looks like Joe Biden is not actually be able to do anything with 1.3 million massive. Okay, so here's an article here that I want to touch on in regards to that question. If it doesn't look like Joe Biden has a chance outside of fake news, trying to help him out as best they can, coming up with all types of fake stats saying that he's winning here, winning there, Belize City. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Belize City. So I'm anticipating there to be something that will occur. More of the same, possibly, for sure. We're going to hear about this health scare for months and years to come, on top of all the stuff they're going to try to force us to do in order to, keep it from becoming more of a problem. And even listening to Jerome Powell today saying that we're going to be looking at, there will not be a recovery of the economy until this health situation is taken care of. How the hell do you take care of it? Other than them furthering their agenda of having everybody, shot, tagged, and bagged. Yeah, so I do anticipate something coming. And then to touch on that further, when you get articles like this right here, it makes me wonder, so this is apparently from mainstream news source, but yet they're also trying to pump some more fear out there for those that have not bought into all the stuff going on now. It says there's a 1 in 3 chance of a massive disaster that could be worse than what we're experiencing now, says Deutsche Bank. And so they're talking about volcano eruptions and, whatever else here. But, once again, Deutsche Bank, are they like in the, they got a department of psychics or something that they are able to come out with stuff like this, other than to get people to click and read and try to see how bad could it get. So it says, citing one study that assessed the odds of a major solar flare happening are 12% in a decade. That means there's a 40% chance it will take place in the next 40 years. And what else here? It says, what else? It says there could be major power outages as electric power grids are disrupted. Oh, wouldn't that be timely? So here's something just to throw out there, and I'm going to dial back with this. Here we have Deutsche Bank. I don't know where this come from, but this is just labeled as Deutsche Bank. And so this is somebody in their department of psychics saying that these are some events that could come. And a lot of people they always mention the power grids. And so I believe in a last-ditch effort to thwart any chance of continuation of what Trump is attempting to do, whatever that's all about. Don't be surprised if before November there's a power outage severely that causes everything to go haywire, and therefore there's no election. So that's stuff that you can never say is not impossible, because right now we're in the land of anything can happen. So, but that's what it is, man. So with that being the case, that's all she wrote about the dial back, and I appreciate everybody tuning in. As always, if you've enjoyed the back and forth, enjoyed the interaction in the chat, don't be afraid to donate that thumbs up beneath this video here. And as always, if you're new to the channel, subscribe and also hit the notification bell, because I'm still getting notifications saying, hey, Mike, I didn't know you were streaming because I got it 3 hours late. I'm like, well, YouTube is doing what they do. So I'm going to do the best I can to try to, keep plugging in. And even though they're, demonetizing stuff and question everything I do, but it is what it is. So anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out. As always, if you guys have not yet, make sure you visit rethinkingsadollar.com. Got all types of opportunities there and free resources and videos and you name it. As also, if you guys want to be a support to the channel and have your picture and name posted, consider becoming a Patreon supporter, and you'll be on the wall of fame, where I like to put all those that have some skin in the game as far as alternative media. They're supporting the channel, so I appreciate all those that do such. And other than that, that is all she wrote. And I appreciate you hanging out with me. Hopefully be back tomorrow. Have an interview tomorrow with David Haggett at 2 p.m. Then I have Max Kaiser coming back on the show on Friday. And so I'm trying to crank it up a little bit, get more alternative thoughts out here, and give you guys a chance to ask the questions. So other than that, be blessed, be safe. I will see you guys later. Peace.